Hello everybody! Today we'll be talking about drawing heads. Yes, heads. We all have them. Here's mine. Oh, I realize my iPad here is kind of right in my view, but I have an iPad recording this right now, and I have the computer recording me. Kind of a double thing. Look, you can see my hand in there. It's funny. But here I am. Here's my head. Everybody's head is different, but we all share some similarities as well. We all have a skull inside. And the way our heads are put together have the same shapes, just different sizes of them. So, to get better of heads today, I wanted to look at something called planes. So a plane is not like the airplane that flies in the sky. I just heard one a minute ago. In this lesson, planes, and in art in general, we think of planes as kind of like shapes, like rectangles, triangles, irregular shapes can be planes, but not a bending shape. So this ruler is a flat plane. My phone is one single plane here. Something like this box. Let's see. Like this box. It has one plane here. It has one plane here. It has a bottom, and it has this, like the inside and the planes going around. So a plane is like a flat area in space. So you can have say I have a square plane, so a square sheet of metal or something. Here's my square sheet of metal, or post-it note, whatever. I can rotate it. So imagine it being like this, and then I rotate it like that. So now, if you can look at the camera, I'm making a square with my hands, or not quite a square, let's see. Yeah, a square with my hands. So here's my plane, and then as I rotate it, watch what happens to the shape. It gets skinnier and kind of moves around. So this plane, if I rotated it that way, would look more skinny, like maybe like that or something. And if I kept rotating it, it could maybe turn into that. And then one more, maybe even skinnier, like that. So it's kind of rotating and falling this way. And then eventually it actually would become a flat line. So this line here, I know to be a whole square plane, just kind of rotated in a way that it's flat. Just like this square post-it, if I rotate it to a certain angle, now it's a line to you. It looks like a line, doesn't it? On the screen. So that's just like my drawing here. I took a square-ish shape. I could draw a better square here. Diamond. Square, and it's rotating, 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 and then it's faced away, and then we can get back to being a little bit of a skinny diamond, thicker diamond, back to a square. Now our piece of paper flipped all the way around. Now what does this have to do with heads, Michael? I don't see any squares on our head. I can't even find any straight lines on my face if I look. There's some close to straight lines, but they all kind of curve a little bit. But when we're drawing them, it's very important to simplify a head. into planes instead of working with curves, because when we try to draw curves, there's nothing to, it's hard to measure them, and they can look a little bit clumsy after a while and a little bit too round. They're just harder to control than a square or a triangle. Things with straight lines, you could use a ruler and you can make them more exact. So it's good idea when you're simplifying things like a head to use straight lines when possible and no curved lines. You can add curves maybe later on, but for now we're going to try to draw a head with all straight lines. But in order to do that, we need to kind of imagine a circle, or a sphere rather. So let's draw a person kind of like this, actually maybe like that. So here's, I'm going to run through this kind of quick, but here's our head. This line which cuts it in half, and this line which cuts it in half. This is the middle line, and this is the brow line, as in eyebrow line, and this is the middle of the face. So those lines on me would be right here, coming around, that's my brow line, and then this is my middle line, coming down the middle of my face like that. So imagine that. So we know our heads aren't circles. If you look at mine, it doesn't look like a basketball on my head. That would be like this or something. But we do have an underlying kind of circular shape. And if we chop off the sides, imagine like a knife chopping off, a piece. Here's my knife. Chomp, and it chops off this piece, and I'm left with a sphere with kind of the edges chopped off. That's a little bit better way to think about a head, not a full circle, full sphere, but a sphere with a little piece chopped off. And then the middle line we can carry down off of the circle like that. And this, right around the bottom, is going to be our nose line, and right around the top is going to be our hairline. So yeah, I find this is something people often get, actually maybe like right here for the hairline. Yeah. People get this a little bit confused. People tend to, when you draw an eye, eyes on a head, people will draw a circle, and then two eyes and a mouth, like that. Or a nose, whatever. But this puts these eyes up here, when really the eyes are much lower on a head. So if I keep, this space, and here's the chin. So if I kind of build this guy up, his eyes would be like right around here. His nose would be here. Mouth somewhere around here. And then the jaw comes back. Something like that. And then ear hits the eyebrow line. And here's the hairline. Like that. Ish. You can kind of see a person's head coming out of there. So I'm not going to do any details, but that's generally the head shape. Now you can see, if I looked at this whole shape of the head, the eyes are closer to the direct middle, or even, yeah. Whereas this is a little bit too high. Not enough forehead. We do have a lot of forehead. This space above our forehead, look at that. If I measure it on myself, carry that down, it's pretty much the same as my eyes to my mouth. That area is the same amount of space as my forehead. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, now I have this kind of rounded guy, and this is what I don't want. I want to try to simplify this into square shapes. And you can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be something complex as a head. I could take, the rounder they are, the harder, but if I took, let's see, something like this, I have this jar here, diced pimentos. I have oil in it from cleaning my paintbrushes. So this has, of course, a round part for the cap and a round part for the bottom, something like that. But if I was to try to simplify this into square shapes, it might be, I'd put it into a square like this. Like there. So this is kind of a square, and then it has, this is a square reduction of this circle thing. And we can do the same kind of idea with with a head. It's really fun to do with other things too. If you just look around, do you find something that's not a square and try to make it, give it straight lines. See how that goes. So let's see. It just dinged at me. Something dinged at me. Anyways, it's important that we learn these planes of the face if we want to shade it right. So that's another reason that drawing things square is better, because if you're drawing a circle, this cap, I'll draw the same thing again, whatever, a jar rather. If I'm trying to shade it, like this, I don't know how far over to shade to make it look like a circle. It's kind of difficult. I don't know. It's generally just kind of hard to shade round things accurately. But on this, I can shade this entire wall here and this wall here. I can get very clean kind of way of shading and making this look much more 3D and accurate than this one. And then I can go in and curve these lines and kind of make up for it. And it will give it a much more realistic, a much more grounded perspective. It's a great exercise, and it'll make you much better at seeing the proportions of things, seeing how to really draw something. Anyways, kind of going on a tangent there. But let's start with the forehead. So we know that this whole face, this isn't a flat, my face isn't flat. There's lots of parts that protrude, like my eyebrows, the parts that go in, like my eye sockets. It's not all just one flat plane, which is like this guy, he's all flat. We want to kind of imply that the bridge of the nose comes out, and the top of the eyebrows come out, and the chin maybe comes out, and the cheeks, and those type of things. So instead of just drawing some lines where those are, how can we imply those a little bit better? This is kind of the key to great drawing. So let's start with the forehead. The brow line straight across. Just about to the ends. If I look at my head, my forehead kind of ends at the top area of my eyebrows, so just about right here. And then this goes up like this. If I look at my head again, it's kind of going up and outwards like that. And then it comes in at the top right here. So I'm going to come in a little bit, come in, and then pretty much straight across the top of the head. So here, there's my first plane. I've got one flat thing on which to shade it. Okay, now let's move down. I've got these kind of sides of my head, which looks like a triangle kind of shape. So I'm going to do a triangle shape right here. This one, since our guy's kind of facing a little bit to the side, I'm actually going to get a little bit more than a triangle because it's gonna go back here a little bit. So we'll have more like this kind of shape. Like that. You can see we've got the forehead and the two lobes, or no, what would you call those? Temples. All right, now let's I guess do this little area here. Take my glasses off. Right here between my eyebrows, there's this kind of ridge here. So let's get that in, and it's just somewhere like this. So that's a ridge. That's one plane all in itself. That's the smallest one we've drawn yet. And then here's the eye. This is kind of like the plane of the eye where it's like an underside, so above the eye. So that's what we're drawing here. It's an above the eye area. So the eyeball would sit in here somewhere. But let's not do the eyeball because that's a circle thing. We're simplifying. Now I want to do the nose. I think I might have made this guy's chin a little bit too far down. I do that. I don't know. That's something I need to work on my face. Anyways, let's do the nose. So our nose, we can't just do one triangle because our noses aren't flat. We've got one side. We've got another side on this side. We also have the top, which generally has its own plane too. Doesn't come to a direct point. And we also have the underside, which is kind of split into three as well. So it's kind of interesting when drawing these things to learn a little bit about our own bodies and like, oh, this is how our noses aren't just one shape. There's a few shapes in them. So again, these are simplified. I could break these shapes into even more complex, but I'm trying to just keep it really simple, this first one. All right, so I've got the two sides of the nose. This guy's got kind of a wide nose. The top of the nose, and then the same thing on this underside. We've got the middle and the two sides. All right. Let's carry this line down to there, and then draw across. This guy's gonna look like Iron Man. So this is the chin. Right here. Hits the chin, and then we kind of got where the chin comes back under our face here. So this is the underside, and here and here. So this is where our jaw turns. So we have our cheeks, which is this area, which kind of molds into our mouth area. The mouth is going to be its own structure in a minute, but let's leave the mouth out of it and just get the head. So then there's this side, there's a front of the cheeks, and there's also this side area. So this is that side area, and the side area kind of connects, and then with this is like the bottom of the chin. There we go. We're gonna take the jaw back and straight down from that line. And then from there we can kind of draw an ear, which we can still do it out of straight lines for the most part. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 straight lines. I kind of curved that accidentally. But then we've got kind of this top plane. That's the top of the ear. And then this is kind of this front area of the ear. There's a lot of stuff going on in the ear, but we can just leave it at that. And then this one we can just do a little rectangle. All right. Now we just got the head to do the hair area. So we're gonna split here's the middle of our head here. So we're gonna do one more line here, splitting the head right in half. Actually, it would be probably like right there. Oops. And then we're gonna do two parts of the top of the head. So this side and this side, and we'll also do 2 more, and then 2 more. So we'll split it into 3 sections. The side, the kind of turning point, and the top. So we've got our top, 1 and 2. We've got the turning point here. And then the sides here. So side, turning point, top, top, turning point, side. Turning point, I just like the more angled part of our head here, where it's turning. Because if we just had side and top, it would look too square. So we need one to kind of round that out. Now let's just put in the neck. The front of the neck and the side of the neck will do. So we have like sides and then this front area. I mean, I didn't put in an Adam's actually, but this is pretty good. Alright, so this is our Iron Man version 1. Planes 1. So I would say this is the kind of thing that we could memorize. So this would be something to do, you know, a couple times. I'm going to do it one more time. Do it with me. So again, let's just, if you have a pencil, you can sketch this out a little bit first. Draw a circle. Let's make this guy face the same way, just to make it easy. There's this middle line of the circle. This goes down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we got these edges cut off. There, something like that. Alright, so now I can do the brow line again. Start with the brow, maybe. I can do now let's just do the forehead real quick. I can do this a little bit quicker and messier. It doesn't have to be so good as the last one. Just see if we can remember. So we've got the forehead area. Got this under the brow above the nose, which turns into the nose. And we do this. I have some music playing on my computer right now, just whatever's on it. And a song that Olive sings just popped up. Anyways, so here's the eye part. This is our temples. And we have the front. Let's go ahead and draw the chin. And the front of our face attaches here. We got like this. I probably could have brought that out a little bit further, actually, like that. This guy's got a little bit skinnier face. Ear. The ear can come down, over and across. Don't forget the top of the ear. This guy's ear is kind of sticking out. That's okay. You can follow that line that we cut out of the circle for 1, 2, top of the head, turning point, side of the head, and then just the neck, front of the neck. The front area kind of comes in more, whereas the sides come down a little more straight. There we go. Yeah, this is a little skinnier guy, but he has all the parts. This is kind of like the skeleton of our drawing. Now, let's see how we can add a couple more planes in order to make this even more lifelike. So this is planes 1. Let's see if we can add a few more to this guy. We don't have a mouth, so I might as well do that. So let's add in the mouth. This is going to be the top of the chin, because usually our chins stick out a little bit, so we've got top and bottom of the chin. And then we've got the muzzle, which if I draw the crease of the mouth, like where it comes closed, above that we have a little let's split our lips into 3 areas like this. So if this is our lips, then we've got top lip is actually, let's go like this. Yeah, sorry. Like that. Like a little triangle sitting on that, and then that'll be our lip, top lip, and then bottom lip, the middle section's a little bit bigger, like a square. Like that. So we've got 3 sections to the bottom lip and 3 sections to the top lip. That'll give us kind of a illusion of being round, because otherwise we have a kind of triangle, but if we have 3 planes, it can be, I don't know, it's kind of hard to show with my hands, but it just makes it a little more round. So let's do the same there. Got his mouth in. Okay, then connecting up to the nose is the same kind of 3 areas. 1, 2, 3. And let's split this face area into a couple more. So instead of just the side, we have a front side and a back side. So me adding lines to this just gives me a few more opportunities to shade differently or see how the body is a little bit more complex and rounded. It just kind of rounds it out without drawing any round lines, curved lines. So the hairline usually isn't exactly round, straight like that. So let's add a little bit more complexity to that hairline, a little bit of a zigzag, and that gives us a plane kind of the front of the hair. So I did it a little bit messy. We can keep the planes of the head, keep this line straight. But yeah, that gives us a little bit more depth. You can see how this guy's already looked a little bit more rounder. This looks like Iron Man. This looks like the Tin Man. A little bit more detail and roundness to him, just from adding a few more lines. So, moving on, we could go even further. So this is plane 2, planes 1, planes 2. Let's see if we can go even to the next step here. So that requires us starting again from Iron Man. I'm gonna call him Iron Man because I already have been, and this is the Tin Man, because Tin Man's still kind of like a metallic looking guy, but he's starting to get a little bit more rounded. So what's missing still is the eyeballs, the insides of the ears. Those don't have detail. And then just a little bit more of a curve to everything else. So again, I'm going to start with pencil. Draw a circle. I'm going to try him straight on. So we'll do a line, and then this center line will be straight up and down. And then I can carry this center line below the circle and get myself my hairline, nose, chin, chop off the sides. Chop off the sides, and that should be a little bit better. Now I can get started. I have my brow line, which this time, instead of going straight across, I'm going to go a little bit more of an angle, and I'm going to split it. So into 2 brow lines now. Just so I don't have to fix it. But other than that, I'm going to keep going kind of just like I did the Tin Man. So we've got this line here. Got the top of the nose. This time, instead of doing one long rectangle, I'm going to do like a smaller section and then a bigger section here. So the nose is a 1-2 kind of thing. Because if you look at my nose, or most of us, there's like a smaller, and then there's like the bulb of a nose. Some people have really big bulbs. Usually when you get older, that area gets bigger. This guy's maybe a little bit older than Tin Man here. You can see his nose bulbs out a little bit. Let's see, the sides of the eyes go down, down. And we have, let's do the temples. Like this. I kind of did that a little lopsided, that's okay. Let's do, split the forehead instead of, we had a big flat forehead here. Oh, I forgot to do that on this one. This guy should actually have a, something like that. There, now his forehead's a little bit more rounded. Opportunity for roundness. So, let's take this guy, this next more evolved planed head. We can add even more. This is kind of getting to pretty advanced stuff, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, but hey, it's good to stretch what I can do. So I split it into 1, 2, 3, 4 going up, so that gives it 4 kind of areas. The top one kind of comes out, and then it's maybe, so this one comes out, then it's straight up and down, and then this one maybe comes towards the viewer and then back down. So it's got a kind of a, if I looked at it from the side, it would look like this kind of thing, and here would be the eyebrow, and the eye, and the nose, whatever. So you can see how it's out, down, out, in. That's why I have 4 of them. Okay, we have the side of the head here. Let's see, let's do the, let's move down here. Again, my guy's a little confused. Okay, the bottom of the nose, so we have this little area, and then the 2 triangles on the sides. I'm gonna do something like this. So you can see I split this nose into a whole bunch of different little planes. But I'm kind of, well, I'm going off a reference here, but it's going, the reason we have each of the planes are imagining different flat kind of, imagine this guy built out of paper, and you have to put it all together like a really complex 3D puzzle. I don't know if that helps, but it's kind of how I think of them. So now let's throw the eye in here, which is again going to be not circle. We're going to just do a diamond-ish eye. Like that. So we have 2 eyes. This is our first robot man with eyes. We've got this area above the lip, and then here's our lips. Let's see, I'll go like that. So we have the top of the lip, and then we have the bottom lip, which again is a little bit thicker, usually. We got the chin. I made him have a big chin, but that's okay. I'm gonna make a line like this. That's kind of the face plate. And then from there we can do some, these are like the cheeks, which we can split to make them a little more curved. You can do the underside of the jaw like this. And now we got some ears to do. I feel like that should come out a little bit more. You can see it's not, this doesn't look like a real person, but what it's training our brain to do is kind of imagine these people that we're drawing as having 3 dimensions and being kind of either popping out of the paper or pushing into the paper, and seeing them as a little bit more complex than, you know, our little circle moon guy over here. He's much flatter. I'm gonna throw a neck on this guy. Remember, the front area kind of comes in. Here's our neck. Got the sides and the front area coming in. So sides, front area coming in. This guy's looking pretty cool. Needs some hair though. So let's come out with the hair. And then we got top, turning point, and sides again. We don't need to add too much to the hair. Top, turning point, sides. Again, just like this guy, we can add a little front area if we want. Like that. Just to separate his hair a little bit from the head. Alright, he's looking pretty good. Look at that little robot guy. That was fun. You could do this from other angles too, if you get good at it, but I'm not great at it. But I would say just practicing, again, starting with these circles, just make them face whatever way. This one right here would face, if he was my, here would be the brow line. This way I would be facing up. Let's see if I can kind of do a quick one. I'm gonna just try to do Iron Man, Tin Man. What should this guy be called? Like Silver Surfer or something? Because he's like fully kind of formed around almost. Because any of these now we can. I mean, if I was painting, this would be great because then I could do this. You know, my darker color, this a middle color, this a light color, and really light him up based on which way the planes are facing. So now I've made the top shadow, so this is gonna look like the light's coming from above if I carry this motif. So anything that's facing up, I'm gonna put shadow on. So this area, this area, this area a little bit more, I think. And anything that's facing down would be lit. Yeah, you can see how I start to shade in these things with the angle in mind. Anything that's facing a light source should be a lighter color. So if the sun was above, which would make more sense if I started like that, then anything that was facing up would be bright, anything on the other side would be dark. But this guy's kind of the opposite. Anyways, it starts to look pretty cool in 3D. But anyways, let's go back to this guy. I got sidetracked. We're gonna do the top of the nose bridge here, do the front and the sides of the nose. We've got the bottom and the sides, the chin. Oh wait, let's do the eyes now. So like that. And this is, chin comes up to those sides of the eyes. We got the bottom of the chin. This goes to a jaw, which if I carry this, the jaw I think should come down like here. You can see how I'm just chomping this guy up. Into different pieces. Let's see. Got the ear. And this, let's see, the forehead. 1, 2, and then 3. We can't really see the back side of the forehead too much. That side of the head, turning point, and top. And then top, we can't see the other side of the head. But he's kind of coming along. Let's do the eyes. Yeah. So now here's my Iron Man. I could maybe add a few things to turn him into Tin Man. I'll add a mouth, because that's the main difference between Iron Man and Tin Man here. Got the bottom lip. So even though I'm just kind of, all my lines are all crossed over each other, and my proportions don't look like a person, it does have that nice three-dimensional feeling to it, even though... So I think the thing to do would be to maybe practice this a lot, but then try to draw a person like a regular person, but with those things in mind. So if I drew, let's see, just really quickly, I don't know, this is kind of risky because I don't know if this is going to turn out well. But here's my regular head shape that I might draw. You know, eyes and a mouth. But with those things in mind, I can start to maybe shade certain areas. So this is like this area above the eye. Now I kind of got an idea for the shape of it. Let's see the area under the nose. There's this spot under the chin I should probably shade here. And I can start to darken all the areas that I remember as being planes, or I'm looking at being planes. So right now I'm drawing anything that was facing down. Let's see, I'll draw some eyes. And then anything that's kind of facing upwards, I can get a light shading. You can already see how this guy here, hey, I can already see some improvement in my own art. But you can see how this guy already has kind of a dimension to him. And I didn't draw all of these lines, but I'm imagining kind of they're there. I get his lip in. I'm just imagining they're there, and it's helping so much. So that's what I mean by how it's probably good to memorize these simple forms at least, so that you can kind of keep them in mind when you're trying to draw a face or a head. Let's see. And with that, I'm going to zoom my picture in slightly. Hey, there we go. Oh my gosh. Whoop. Is this you? Can I zoom you? Okay. There we go. Should have probably had it bigger. Yeah, you can see this is the final result. A very quick sketch, but informed by my Silver Surfer here. So if you want to now, I'll make this even bigger, and you can pause the screen. Oh, maybe too big. You can pause the screen when I have it up here if you need to continue your study of this head. This is actually a method developed by Andrew Loomis in his book about the Loomis method of drawing heads. And it's been really helpful for me, and I'm still studying it myself, and I hope you can get something out of it too. So yeah, start with Iron Man. Try to draw a bunch of heads like this. Don't need eyes, you don't need mouths. Try to turn them different directions, like this guy down here. You could turn him around backwards and see if you can make up a couple more planes for the back of the head. This can be a very unstructured thing too, you know, if you're just doodling. You can come up with these little guys all the time if you just imagine if you imagine the eyes as those shapes, and just kind of memorize these type of shapes when drawing a face. And conceivably, doing this a lot, you'll get, I'm just seeing how fast I can draw something resembling, there we go. Conceivably, you'll get way better at drawing more three-dimensional heads if you practice this a lot. This guy's a little rough. And if you want, you can split up the head into different types of shapes. These ones are just the ones that I learned from Loomis. But conceivably, you could come up with your own shapes that you think better represent the robotic form of the head, and that might make your stuff more unique. So, anyways, happy drawing, everybody. Thank you so much for watching me draw and talk about art. I just love doing it. So, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a good week. I'll see you around.